Good morning. What would I do if I knew that I could not fail? If I believed would the wind always fill up my sail? How far could I go? What would I achieve? Trusting the hero in me. If I were brave, I'd walk the razor's edge, where fools and dreamers dare to tread. I'd never lose faith, even when losing my way. What step would I take today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? What if we're all meant to do what we secretly dream? What would you do if you knew you could have anything? Like the mighty oak sleeps in the heart of a seed, are there miracles in you and me? If I were brave, I'd walk the razor's edge, where fools and dreamers dare to tread. I'd never lose faith, even when losing my way. What step would I take today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? If I refused to listen to the voice of fear with the voice of courage, whisper in my ear. If I were brave, I'd walk the razor's edge, where fools and dreamers dare to tread. I'd never lose faith, even when losing my way. What step would I take today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave?
Good morning, and good morning everyone who has just connected. We live stream this service. It's always a joy to be here with all of you, sharing the presence, sharing the love. So we just got back from our Canuga retreat this week. Many of us were in the mountains, and we had a great time together, especially connecting with people from the big unity. Reverend Linda Martellus-Wissett, who wrote the book, How to Pray Without Talking to God, and she's the current director of Silent Unity, really took us into this prayer process that you'll be hearing more of today. It's not really what we're asking for, but what's the nature of our thinking. We'd like for you to take a deep breath. You don't have to close your eyes, but just ponder on the idea. Most of my thinking on truth or on circumstances? Is it mostly on love or fear? Is it mostly on dreams or my self-imposed limitations? For energy flows where your attention goes. What if we make a habit to put our attention on God, on all that God is? If we're struggling in a relationship, we might want to put our attention on God as harmony. If we are fighting or struggling with scarcity, it's about putting our energy and our attention on abundance, and illness on God as life. So today we're going to just go deeper into this unity prayer process that Rev Neusom will share most with you later on. But in the meantime, I would like for you to all stand, and we're going to rock this place by singing our opening song, Day by Day, and make it like a way that we're saying, day by day, I'm doing that. I'm putting all of my attention on God. So let's bring that energy up. Special welcome to our beloved Cindy Johnson. Whoa, Cindy. It's great being there in such beautiful connection when we sing, isn't it? It's beautiful being together as one. So I'd like to just share some special announcements with all of you. And I'll start off by asking our wonderful marketing team ladies to please step forward and share something really important with us.
Good morning, everybody.
Hello.
Good morning, everybody watching us on Facebook, online as well. My name is Jasenia, and this is Ashley. We are the marketing team here at Unity of the Triangle. And as you might already know, we are currently halfway on the hashtag 21 Days of Kindness campaign. So we really want to thank you all for participating and being so engaged and sharing lots of inspiring acts of kindness.
And if you don't know what we're talking about, look at our Facebook and our Instagram page. And if you want help with how to get on Facebook, how to get on Instagram, how to tag us, use hashtags, all that kind of stuff, I will be out in the lobby after service by the welcome desk to give you a little pointers, a little tutorial. So yeah, we'll be out there. And even if you just want to come by and say hi, you can do that too.
Hello.
Perfect. I just feel like a proud mama here. Good job, girls. Okay. Now I'm going to have Jay Wright give us an important announcement on the talent show.
Hey, folks, how you doing out there? It's fun being in front of the mic for once. Yes. So Unity's Got Talent. It was a great show last year, wasn't it? Hard to believe it's already been a year, but it's coming around again, and we need folks to participate. Although our slots are starting to fill up, so if you play the kazoo, if you can, if you've got poetry, good poetry that you want to share with everybody, I don't know, stand on your head and juggle. I know Frank Jeffries, I guess he's not here right now, but yeah. So we want to have all shapes and sizes and colors of talent, so sign up out in the lobby, come talk to me if you want, and we're going to have a great time here on Homecoming Sunday. Thank you.
Whoa, thank you, Jay. I'll be there with you, joining you. Okay, so 2 more announcements. On Wednesday, October 2nd at 1:30, Dr. Mark Edwards is coming back and doing a workshop on detoxification and rejuvenation, an ounce of prevention. So room 228, hope you can make it. He's got great workshops to offer. And then on Saturday, October 12th, the Pledge Blessing from 10 to 12 will be blessing small and great creatures. So that'll happen in front of the elevator lobby. Hope you can bring your pet and let others from our community know that we're doing this for our pets. Having said that, I think we're good to go. I'm going to ask everybody now to please stand and join us in the welcome song.
Please take this moment and respectfully greet the beautiful spirit of Christ and the people immediately around you. presence of the Lord is in this place. The God in me beholds the God in you. Namaste. The God in me beholds the God in you. Namaste. All is beautiful, all is well, all is beautiful, all is
As we begin to meditate, let us adjust our bodies so that we can be comfortable. And then we begin to quiet the mind by paying attention to the breath. And so just let the breath be the focus of attention, as though it was quite interesting. What does it feel like when it comes in? And what does it feel like when it goes out? Let the body deepen in its relaxation. Let the eyes relax, the mouth, the shoulders, the hands. Let the legs and the feet relax. They all begin to relax. We just pay attention to the breath. As we do so, let us imagine that our hearts are opening as well. We're directing some of our breath or all of our breath into the heart chakra, and the chakra is awakening with energy with each breath. I'd like you now to imagine that you can know the names of the people who put their prayers request in the prayer box that is on stage here in the center. And in the prayer box, there are sincere requests for health and prosperity, for relationships, etc. Take those in. Connect with it. And now we're going to do the process called the golden key. So you're aware of it. It is in your field of awareness, these requests. And now we turn all our attention to the divine. We leave the troubles behind. We leave the needs behind, the ambitions, and we turn our attention to the divine. We may begin that by rehearsing all we know about the divine, about that which has been called God, the presence, the universe. We bring our attention now and we focus only on that. Let your hearts and mind be lifted as you bring your attention to the one presence and the one power. May we all be lifted up by the focus of our attention as we sit together in silence.
I shall receive. To go from here and share this love you gave to me, to show someone who's lost and help them find their way, the way to truth and faith, so they can be free like me, free like me. Lord, we are your love. Lord, we are your peace. Lord, we are your joy. This day,
Lord, we thank you for this day.
Thank you. Today we're going to do meditation, and we've been having audio difficulty lately. Thank you. Is this all right? One of these is going to work? Nope. Let me just talk loud for a while. So we're going to do meditation, and we're going to do meditation based on the 5-step prayer practice that Unity has put forth over the last 100 years. And this 5-step prayer practice is really a way of doing meditation. It's not so much about prayer, although it has a bit to it, and I'll explain that in a minute. But it's basically a way of going deeper. And the way they did it was a little bit different than I've heard it in other places. So in mantra meditation, when you do a mantra meditation, you basically have one word. Many times doesn't have a particular meaning. It just has a sound that resonates with your being. And so you would say this one word, let's say Om or something like that. You would say it over and over, and gradually your mind begins to give up and quiet. And as it does so, you move deeper and deeper. Now, Unity uses something of the same idea, except basically it starts with an idea of something that you would like to deepen into. And in that sense, it's a bit like centering prayer that's been revitalized in the Catholic Church. Centering prayer basically holds an idea long enough for you to begin to resonate with it, and then it leads you into a sense of depth. And that's essentially what this does. It has 5 steps to it, though these steps are not distinct as in crisped, edged, boundaried things, but these steps are kind of like guideposts to lead you deeper and deeper. And the first step is relaxation. Now, relaxation is just what it sounds like. You relax your body and your mind to the best of your ability. So you begin by relaxing. Now, this is not a trivial step. In my opinion, it seems to be one of the secrets that allows people to go into meditation. If you skip this step, there's a tendency that you're going to be trying too hard, you're going to be working at it, and you will not be able to cruise down the rest of this into deeper states, because now you're in efforting. I had a brilliant meditation teacher in seminary at Unity Village. Everybody loved to sit with her because she just went deep and she took you with her. You know, she was one of those presences that could do it. And that happened in the first year I was there. It's a 2-year program. In the second year, she came about halfway through it and said, you know, I just need some help. She's coming to the class now and saying, I need help. I can't seem to meditate anymore. And the reason, of course, we gave her all the psychological baloney back and forth with her. You know, it's like, but it really turned out that what she wasn't doing was she wasn't relaxing first. She had become so proficient, she thought she could just go quickly to the solution of meditation. And having done so, she then realized she wasn't getting anywhere, so she started to try, and starting to try got harder and harder, and after a while, she just couldn't go anywhere with it. So don't forget, relax. Do the relaxation first. Let yourself relax sufficiently. It's not like you can rush this. You know that song from Father, Son, Sister Moon about make your life go slowly? Slow beginnings, greater ends, make your life go slowly. So we start slowly, we relax. And then the next thing is we take a particular thought, a particular aspect of our own life or being that we would like to deepen into. And so that could be something like peace. Let's say it's peace that you want, and you begin to bring your mind on peace, and that is the concentration aspect of it. You concentrate on peace. Now, the concentration can start off as a dialogue, a verbal kind of recitation of what you know about peace, or maybe you might even recognize that you just don't have any peace, or that peace comes when you are with friends, or whatever the comments that the mind brings up. You just let them happen, and then you begin to, you've kind of like, let it just do the thing it's going to do. The mind does the thing on peace for a while, and then it begins to slow down as you continue to deepen into this. You begin to ruminate. Now you're into the kind of a little more syrupy, kind of thicker, right? It's like you're doing a reduction. You know, you're taking a sauce and making it thicker. You're just it's getting denser. So it doesn't move as fast, and your mind isn't going quite as fast. It's slowing down, and that is the concentration aspect. Now, when it's slowed down, let's say to the alpha state of mind, when your mind is that, now you're beginning the meditation aspect of it. The mind is beginning to maybe not having a word all the time, or if it is, it's certainly not got a lot of agitation to it. It's getting kind of peaceful and quiet. So you're in the alpha state, and your mind is now quieting down. So we haven't rushed anything to this point, and you don't rush ever, and you don't effort but so much. When you bring your mind to concentration, there's the effort to start the process. You begin to effort a bit right then, and then as it begins to work, you kind of lessen your efforting. Don't give up altogether, but you lessen the work you're putting in on it. You're not trying so hard now. You're just beginning to let. And you let it happen. You've brought your mind to a focal point. Let's say it's peace. You're focusing now on peace, but the peace is actually beginning to be you at that point. And you're beginning to be the peace, the thing that you have thought about. You are what you think about. You're beginning to be like that, and the peace is happening, and now you're dropping down into realization, where you realize the peace that you are after. Now, a second thing that can happen while you're in this state of realization is that you begin to shift out of the alpha state, which is still conscious, and you perhaps drop momentarily into the delta state, which is the one associated with dreamless sleep. You move into this, and this sense of healing will happen generally in the physiology at that point. The mind and the body will be renewed in a way that's just really hard to get to without dropping into this deep, profound state. And you cannot make it happen. So if you are coming down to the peace thing and you go, hey, I've heard there's a trap door here, I could go inside and go into absolute rest. Don't push it or it won't open. You have to relax. If it opens, it opens. If it doesn't, you did a good thing. You've done all that you can do. You've done all that you can do to get you there. If it opens, it opens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. It's not your doing from there. Can you accept that? So don't push it. Don't try. Stop trying. Let it happen or don't. With me? This is a little bit tricky because you're trying at the top and you're not trying at the bottom. Now, when you get to the bottom and you've had that experience, or you haven't had that experience of deep silence or the experience of peace, but your time's up, then you begin to come out with a sense of appreciation. And you appreciate because it's the most advantageous energy you can meet the world with, the one of appreciation. So I can't remember if it was Goethe or not that said, the only prayer worth saying is thank you. And so you come out with the thank you attitude. And that's the whole thing. So the idea is that if you pick a word at the beginning, about halfway through, you don't change it and you go, you know, it wasn't really peace I was after, it was money, you know? I think it just said peace, I didn't mean it. Don't do that. Stick with it. Stick with it, let it be like a weight you grabbed onto to carry you to the bottom of the ocean. Don't think about halfway down, it would be better to have grabbed a different weight. It doesn't matter at that point. You're being pulled into the depth of who you are, right? So just let it pull you and keep pulling you as you go down, right? Go changing your mind in there. It's not gonna work as well. Okay? So the 5-step prayer method is this: if you relax, you find a word, and find a word before you start to relax, or maybe just as you're relaxing, pick a word, and you may choose the same word every day for the rest of your life, or you may choose a different word every day for the rest of your life. It doesn't matter. This is a practice. Pull yourself into it by picking a word or a thought, a quality about your life you'd like to have. Hold on to that thought and begin to ruminate on it and let it churn as it will, but keep your mind on it. And if you know your mind, if your mind is like mine, it goes, I could be going over it, and you just keep bringing it back, keeping it in the same place, molding that clay, smoothing the edges, staying with it. It drops into meditation, and a thought comes up. You think about it, but you're kind of resting in it. It hangs out for a while, and perhaps you drop through the trap door, or maybe you don't, but you're thinking about the same thing or holding that same thought. Maybe you're at the point where you're using that thought as a mantra now. So now maybe you go, peace. Next breath, peace. Perhaps that's how you do it. Find your method, and you go deeper, quieter, you drop into it. Time's up. Time to come out. You say, thank you. Move out in a state of appreciation. So we'll practice now. So we'll begin. Jay's going to play a little bit. At some point he'll go silent, and in that silent period, you'll have fewer, maybe a little less distraction, but we'll bring you back out with music. And you don't have to worry about the time. You're not going to miss the Wegmans opening. Let's begin. We start by relaxing the body. One of the easiest ways to quiet the mind is to pay attention to the breath. It works here, it works on the street, it works everywhere. If you're anxious, watch your breath. If you want to still, watch your breath. We pay attention to the breath by feeling it come in, and we feel it go out. The face relaxes. The eyes relax. Throat. Like the chest relax, and all the tension that we've gained by holding our breath, we relax that. The belly as well as the chest breathes, and so the belly is softening. The hips and the legs, they relax. The feet relax. No place to go, nothing to do, nothing to remember. Just relax. Now we begin to pick a word, and if you don't have a word yet, let's use peace. So we begin to concentrate on peace. If the mind should go someplace else, bring it back. It loves to think, so we let it think about peace. Try putting peace in your heart, the words in your heart rather than in your head. And let yourself quiet a little more and ruminate with the heart about peace. 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 as we begin to come back, we begin to think and feel gratitude. And as we come back, you can hear these words from the St. Francis prayer. Lord, make me an instrument of your peace. Where there is hatred, let me sow love. Where there is injury, pardon. Where there is discord, union. Where there is doubt, faith. Where there is despair, hope. Where there is darkness, light. And where there is sadness, joy. Okay. So today we've done two of the favorite forms of prayer meditation that Unity puts out there. The first meditation we did during the time which we call meditation, that was called the Golden Key. And many of you got the pamphlet. If you don't have the pamphlet, I think we probably have more out there. The Golden Key was Emmett Fox put it forth. He was a profound healer of the last century, and people would send him prayer requests, and he would just get the request in, go to his chair. He had a particular chair he liked to sit in. He'd have the request, and then he would turn his attention away from the request toward the divine, and he held it there. And he called that golden keying the situation. And it was his suggestion that you could golden key anything, and pretty much any time you wanted to. You could be driving down the road and you could hear something on the radio, and you could turn your attention from that and turn your attention toward the divine and say, I'm going to golden key this. And you would that's the way you would pray for it. It's like, give it no energy. Give the divine your attention. So that's one way. And we just did a class yesterday. Those who are joining the Sacred Prayer Circle, we went over the Golden Key and did some practice with it, so that they could be part of the prayer team that takes the names, and only the names, of the people who put their prayer request in here. And then they hold that prayer request for the week. They hold that, and let's say your name is Bill or Sue or something, your name, Bill and Sue, would be on their list, and they would just look at your name, and then they would golden key. They would think only of God for their time of prayer, and that's how we pray without sharing your information and without them needing to pray for a specific thing. Now on Wednesdays, Mimi leads a call in. You can call in, even if you're not on that prayer team, you can call in and get this prayer, which is based on the 5-step prayer method of relaxation, concentration, meditation, realization, and appreciation. So you can do that. So you can get a little tune-up every week. But if you're really interested, Mimi's going to do a multi-day things. As you can see, I can see your faces. You're definitely looking at it. Read that. She's going to do that at the Agape Retreat Center, which is on the banks of the Cape Fear River, just south of Fuquay-Varina. Food and a place to sleep, and and big grounds to walk on, and also this practice and deepening into your own prayer and meditation. We have room for at least 15 people, so if you can make it, please sign up right away. Mimi will be in the lobby. Mimi, you want to stand up for a second? If y'all don't know her? Mimi does our prayer and meditation. She leads the prayer teams, both the silent prayer team and also the prayer chaplains. But she also does pastoral care. So generally, if you have an issue that requires that, Mimi would be the person you talk to, or eventually she'll be on your case one way or the other. And so this church has a lot of that. We have a lot of chances for you to pray and meditate. The TM people meet here once a month for a nationwide meditation. But all our things really are based on this idea that the answers are within you, and the presence is all around you, and all we have to do is to open to it, to have a deeper experience. Now, along those lines, I have a friend, Deborah Westmoreland, who's going to come up here in a second and tell you about her workshop. But I have known Deborah for a long time because she's famous in this community as someone who has had a profound spiritual experience, and I'm going to let her take it from there, but a lot of people know her from that. So Deborah, if you'll just come up and give us a quickie on that one.
9 years ago, almost to the day, I had a profound and irreversible spiritual awakening. All boundaries and all questions disappeared, and I was at peace as God, living for God. But then after the honeymoon period was over, I came back online and I realized that there was still something in the way. There were still ego things coming up, tripping up things. And so I went on this process, this path of individuation by Carl Jung. And what it is that he would say the ego is the center of consciousness, our small self. And that our ego, when we're young, however we receive love and acceptance, our ego puts into our persona, and we become that persona. There's nothing wrong with that. But whatever denies us love and acceptance, by default goes into our shadow. And so as we age, emotional triggers come up and we think, oh, that's the other person. But nothing is ever the other person. Everything is you. And so what happens is that our shadow is what is being triggered because it's not allowed to be acknowledged, because it's afraid it won't be loved and accepted. What Carl Jung set up is a way to individuate, which become the person you're meant to be. And for me, I like to think of it about you have to free your mind. So we are living with conditioned minds that stop us from knowing who we are, which is God. And so we go on this journey with whatever emotional triggers come up, we look at that, like, why does that bother me? We go back to our shadow, and usually our shadow is not something evil or bad that we have to hide. Usually our greatest gifts are found there. Our gold is there. And so we integrate this part into us. We bring it in, we give it the love and acceptance it needs by looking at it. And we're all the same. We all have this. So instead of emotional triggers being outside, like that's a toxic person, I need to walk away from it, we think, that's interesting. What in me triggers that? And so that's what my workshop is about. I'm gonna talk a little bit about Jung's theory of personhood, ego, persona, shadow, collective unconscious, which is just all that is, which is God, which is what we have at our access at all moments when that conditioned mind drops, and we live from a supreme intelligence. And then at the second half of the workshop, we're going to have some fun experiential with like what triggers us, and we'll look at our own shadow stuff, and I'll take you through that process. And I guarantee it'll be creative and fun. It won't be something heavy and like, oh my gosh, my shadow, I can't look at it. Because it's just the stuff that was hidden because in your conditioning, when you had no control, when you were a child, you said, oh, this is how I'm accepted and loved, and this is how, not accepted and loved. Like, it might be your greatest gift. Like, you might be a revolutionary, and everyone said, well, we don't love you when you're a revolutionary, so you put it behind you. But anyway, I'd love to see you next Sunday afternoon. It's from 1:30 to 3:30 if you want to join me. Thank you.
Thank you, Deborah. So we're going to take up an offering now, and then we'll have some music as that goes on. Cindy, again, it's great to have you back. Cindy has been off and on a member of this church, a director of the music program, a guest singer, a soloist at Christmas. She's get to know her. She's really fun. We're gonna bless her offering. So this offering really is not about what we did up here. I don't know if you know that. Most of us think that. I kind of liked it today. I'm going to give them $5 more. It's really about building community. It's about taking your place in this community financially so that the whole place can survive and thrive. And so it's really not about tipping Cindy, even though she's a great singer. It's about building community. And so when we say this, divine love through me, this is our internal work, but our external work is to build a world in which we all can thrive. So if you will, let's bless our offerings. Together. Divine love, as me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you for being here. There's your...
He sits on a sidewalk and holds up a sign. Please help me, I'm hungry, but we just walk by. And it's colder than ever, the cold of the heart that builds up the stone walls that keeps us apart. What are we here for, if not for love, if not for each other? How can there be enough to get through the darkness and still rise above? What are we here for, if not for love? I don't know the reason we can't get along. Seems like everyone's fighting about who's right and who's wrong. Maybe I wear a gold cross and you wear a star, just to keep us from seeing how connected we are. And what are we here for, if not for love, if not for each other? How can we be enough to get through the darkness and still rise above? What are we here for, if not for love? And must we wait until the world all goes to hell to love our neighbor as ourselves? What are we here for, if not for love, if not for each other, how can we be enough to get through the darkness and still rise above? What are we here for, if not for love? To get through the darkness and still rise above. What are we here for, if not for
Well, we want to give these beautiful faces a blessing. And so we have this little phrase here. I'm going to say the first line, and you guys are going to say the second. Together? If you want to be happy, practice kindness.
We bless you as you express love to yourself and others.
Now let's join hands and sing the peace song.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as creator. They all are we. Let us walk with each harmony in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, this is my joyful vow, to take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Happy Rosh Hashanah! And